Hello, this is Emma and video number 2. Harry Wells is killing Europe, and I finished the last video by talking about how Wells has a huge power of manipulation over the media. He can ask the People magazine to print whatever he wants to print. He's, from a powerful family. Now, also a huge trouble, our identity as European. The families, the royal family in Europe, they come from aristocracy. They are establishments that they have a weight and a history in Europe for us, and they represent our history and our culture because they are famous. Not everybody in the country is famous. Now, the royal family of England, England is a country, they are French and German. They had French and German invasions, then Danish, but we all had. English is old French. We are all linked, It's not a surprise that when the migrants, they want to go to England, they're stuck in France because we are neighbor countries. They represent our culture, therefore, they represent our history and culture, therefore they represent our identity. And the identity of the British is Anglo-Saxon. In France, we are Gallo-Roman. We all have Celtic, Roman, from the Roman Empire, and Germanic origins, whether you're English or French or German or Italian. We're all cousins, and our identity is very important because it makes us what we are. The way we live today, the fact that we are safe, we have law, we can go out every day, we can take our children to school, we have good schools, good university, good hospital, a police to protect us, it's because of our identity. If you take away our identity, you take away our life, our quality of life, you take away everything from us. Now, what Harry Wells is doing by introducing Markle, a black African-American in the royal family, he's attacking, touching our identity. And he's doing it publicly and officially, because he could have renounced to his title and date and marry this girl discreetly, secretly, or at least discreetly. He didn't have to use all the TVs all around the globe, to advertise the fact. And in his interview, which I haven't seen it all, I just saw on the BBC a small bit of it, he said she's part of the team now. Well, we don't want her to be part of Europe. We want to be European. Africa is beautiful, African people are lovely, my friend from Congo is wonderful, and I love them all, but this is Europe, belongs to Europeans. We are a tiny place compared to Africa that is huge. The Arabic countries are huge, they have space to live where they come from. But we need space, and we need to survive. And we don't want her to be in Europe, and we don't want her to represent, she cannot represent me as a European, she cannot represent my English friends as I actually have Britain's blood. Some of my ancestors are called Mercier, and they were merchants from Mercia, the kingdom of Mercia in England. Far away, but whatever. But even if I didn't have British blood, she cannot represent my English friends because she's not English. On top of that, it's attacking our identity to the roots because he does it publicly. They are on every TV. And my friend told me that from the beginning she was giving interviews in America, and I have a friend in America. She said it drives me crazy. It's all about her over there. They speak a lot about her, and she was giving, after 6 months and 8 months they met, she was giving interviews. And I thought, hang on, because I lived in the UK for 12 years, between 19 and 31 years old, 12 years. And when the other ladies were engaged to Prince Charles' brother was engaged to Sophie Rhys-Jones for 5 years, she did not have the right to speak to anybody for 5 years. She had to be discreet. Kate and William, 12 years. She didn't have the right to speak to anyone. 12 years. Now, same for every fiancé in the royal family for centuries. They didn't have the right to speak to the newspaper. For the last 60 years, they couldn't speak to the TV, nothing. All of them. Even the boyfriends, they couldn't give interviews or anything. And this woman, after 6 months they met, she was already giving interviews. Now, I was told this relationship was all planned and sorted in the name of multiculturalism. Some people, some organizations around the world, they want to kill Europe. They want to get Europe invaded completely by African and Arabics. And people responsible for other group of peoples are talking, and they're saying, we want Europeans to have brown babies and black babies. We want to, we want to just eradicate Europe, and we want it to be a new Africa. We want it to be a new Arabia, God knows what. Now, this organization apparently would have recruited Meghan Markle because her sister said, people said that she was saying to everybody she wanted to get up the ladder, she wanted to be a princess. She slept around with people in Hollywood to get her part in series. She married a guy to use him and divorced him when she didn't need him anymore. She's actually complaining, my friend tells me, in the High magazine, that when she was young, people were asking her, what are you? It was hard for her at school because she was mixed race. Her daddy paid for a private school for her. This woman is a millionaire. She was brought up. She was a privileged child. How many of you in the UK have to go to a state school? They have trouble to pay their bills at the end of the month, their food, their children's clothes. This woman is lying on the People magazine in the UK to make you like her, but with lies though. She's not. She's a privileged person from Los Angeles, California, and in LA, in America, there are lots of people who are African American, black, and mixed race. So it's not true. They couldn't have asked her who she was, because lots of people are like her. So, if you use your head and think for 2 seconds, you'll know that she's just lying. So why lying? Also, she has afro hair, and she's having treatment to straighten her hair. So she says, I'm proud of who I am. If she's proud of who she is, why is she straightening her hair and she puts white makeup to look white? My friends in England, they told me that she's making herself looking like Kate, William's wife, Harry's brother. And she's making herself looking like her, so people will like her. So it's all planned for this multiculturalism thing, for Europe to become all mixed race. But why? Because we love who we are. It's our identity. We don't need to be mixed race. Everybody can be happy. Black people can be happy. Arabic people can be happy. But in their own country, Europe is tiny compared to their country, and it's for us Europeans. Now, Harry is not a very good person because he knows about all that, but he's very naive. She had lots of help. She had a group of people behind her to approach him and to meet him, and she was told his favorite stuff, how to speak to him, how to be with him. God knows, even stuff to do in bed, Harry Wells was a very easy target because he spent 2 years after he left his ex-girlfriend from 2014. He spent 2 years in America. He went around the parties, the orgies, and he's very much a drug and alcohol addict. So he's a very easy target. It was easy for this group to make that woman approach him. And all this in order to destroy the European identity. Now, he's an idiot. I mean, he's an asshole, because he treats his ex-girlfriend and people before said that he treats people very badly. So, and when he was with his ex-girlfriend, he liked sleeping with other girls, like go-go dancers, stripteasers. He goes clubbing a lot. And it was hard for his ex-girlfriends to accept the fact that he was going out a lot and drinking heavily and taking drugs with his boyfriends, and then sleeping with go-go dancers and stripteasers and anybody. And like when he was in LA, he slept with, you know, like singers, famous people, this and that. So I think he's just happy that he's found a woman who's happy to say yes to everything, as long as she's got a status, as long as she gets into a royal family. She will never have to work in her life ever. Which brings me to my next thing. They are using your tax-paying money, you hard-working people. So you're all working very hard to pay taxes, to maintain a luxury. You know, she was like an escort girl / sex actress. She was earning her money by doing sex scene in series. Is this a good example for young lady growing up in England? If you're responsible parents, you're putting your money, time and energy into educating your children, and then a member of the royal family is giving you this as an example for your children. Now, is this what you want, and is this what you want your taxes to go to? Now, at the moment, they're squatting. They used to live in Harry's flat in Kensington Palace. Now they are squatting the cottage. The bills for this place, plus the butlers, the cleaning ladies, her luxury lifestyle, hundreds of thousands of years, millions, it will cost you. Now, does this girl deserve your tax money, you, the British people? On top of this, I'm gonna have not one jungle in Calais, but we're gonna have like 12 jungle in Calais. Millions of people from Le Touquet and Deauville up to the other end. They will take the whole coast of France. They will all come from Africa, because it's massively advertised, their marriage, in Arabic TV, African TV. And it's going to be from Deauville, the west coast near Bretagne, all the way across France. It's going to reach Belgium and Holland, and all those people are attracted to England. Why? Because you have a liberal way of living in terms of jobs. People, they can live and work in the UK without being legal, and they can have illegal jobs. Well, it's harder in France to work, and the pay, well, it's not. It's more liberal in the UK. So they all want to get in the UK, but they're going to be stuck in my country. Now, when the Calais jungle was closed, they've sent all those immigrants from Africa to all the villages and the towns in France, to my small town also. So for the past 1 year, we've been seeing them around. And I was in a park one evening at about 8 p.m. in the evening, and 3 of them were following me, actually. One of my neighbors, who was out crossing the park, called me and told me to come and join him, and raised his voice and sort of scared them off. It's 3 of them. They've been following me for 15 minutes. I was taking my dog out in the park. So most of those young men are Muslims from Africa, and they're used to see women covered up. And women in Muslim country, they don't have much right. They cannot speak to men. They cannot dress in a particular way. So when they come here to our country, they are not used to see us acting freely. And in Germany and in Sweden, many of those migrants, 2017, many German women got raped, and in Sweden, many of them got killed, and before that tortured and raped by those migrants from African and Arabic country who freshly immigrated. They are not your Muslim people that, you know, that they were born and bred in the UK. they went to school, they're working with you, they know, like my friend who stayed here for 6 months with me, she's very culturally, I mean, she knows, I mean, the students who come and study in France, you see, they have to do visa, they have to do paperwork, they have to study French first. When they come here, they are university students, they you know, they are carefully accepted into the country, but those people are just popular class, middle class people who just lived in their way all their life, and they're suddenly, it's the clash of civilization, suddenly discovering Europe and seeing women. Now, when I walk around my little town and they're here, they're looking at us very, very insistently, and when we sort of, with my friend, we hide behind cars or trees, they're insisting that they sort of bend their heads and they try to look at us in the eyes, and they don't have like the behavior of your normal, usual European person. They're scaring us, but at least France isn't like Sweden. Stockholm, the capital of Sweden, has become the first city of rape in Europe, the most dangerous city for women in Europe. Now in Germany, for New Year's 2018, a month ago, they had to redefine areas with security system where women were able to party for the New Year's Eve because they were scared of the immigrant. I mean, Angela Merkel took 1 million of those immigrants a year or 2 years ago. Now, many German women got attacked, punched, and raped. So mass immigration is not controlled immigration. It's not like my friend who came to study, you know, they have to do a visa, they're only accepting a few hundred of students a year, then they go back to their country, and if they stay, they study here so they know about us. Those are like tens of thousands, like millions of people every year crossing our border, not knowing, they don't speak our languages, they don't know our culture, they are in their ways, and it's a clash of culture for them, and it's like huge issues. Now, because of Harry Wells and doing what he's doing, I don't know why he's doing this, he's attacking our identity, he's killing Europe, he's killing all of us. He wants to make us a minority in our country. Obviously, that guy, he has issues, you know. But, you know, we all had a hard life. He's been a privileged person since he was born, you know. So if he has issues with his family, I mean, may I suggest that he deals with daddy and grandma, and he can deal with it. But why is he making us pay for his issue? And why, you know, if he's a drug addict, or if he's an alcohol addict, or if he treats people badly, if he treats women badly, if he has issues, you know, it's not us to pay for his issue. And I don't believe my country, France, should be invaded and have millions of immigrants waiting on the cross border in front of the UK just because he has issues. So I think he could have very well dated and married this woman discreetly. Why did they have to go around all TVs in the world, and why did she have to go to every single magazines in America after 6 months or 8 months they met to advertise their relationship, while he was still seeing other women in the UK and in America and everywhere? I guess that's part of their contract and their agreement, that he can see as many women as he wants. But they get married, then she has a status. But it's attacking our identity. It's like the royal family are supposed to represent their people. Now, he's marrying her. She's representing black people in Africa and in America. That's not us. The other thing that leads me to the other very important thing I want to speak about, she doesn't care about people in the UK. She doesn't care about European people. She's still in her American way. She wants to invite the old American president to her wedding just to make a statement. Look, I'm a famous person. I'm an important person. I can even invite the past American president of the United States. I don't give a shit. I'm European. This is Europe, you know. I don't want you to represent us, and I don't want you to use our money, our European money. I paid the taxes in England 2017 in October and November and December. I don't want you to use my tax money to pay for your capricious shitty parties and stuff. Then Harry put her through to have a talk to the ONU, and she said she has causes she wants to defend. I can imagine what kind of causes. She grew up with a black African mother, and she wants to invite a black African American president. So you can tell she's more into her black African side rather than her white father side. So she will want to support African causes, which is great. You know, I love Africa and stuff. But in France this Christmas, we had white French people dying in the street. And in the UK, we had white British people dying in the street of cold because they were sleeping outside or in their car. And we have poor people in Europe to help. We have causes in Europe to help. And because of the crisis that happened in 2008, because of a lot of things now, because of the Brexit and the property sold to foreign people in the UK is having trouble with, you know, money. So the British people and the European people, because she's going to ask for her charities, European people, to give money to send abroad. Our money, we need to use it for poor people in the UK, in France, and to sort out the immigration that will be stuck in between, the jungles in between Calais, Deauville, and Belgium. We need our money in Europe. We don't need to support your fucking causes because we have European causes. You don't care because you're an American and you're black and you want to support black people. It's great, but then you take black people's money. The governments in Africa are very super rich because they are selling all their golds and their mineral. Africa has a rich soil. He has all the diamonds and gold and everything you want. It's just that the African government, they don't share it with their people. They don't have social institution. But the president and prime minister, they have Swiss bank accounts with billions in it. So you ask them for money for your black causes, but not our money. Because you will cheat people into by brainwashing them and lying to them on People magazine for them to give you money, their European money to send other people in Africa and maybe in America, maybe for African American. There are lovely causes, but you just ask black African rich people to give you money for those causes, because our money needs to be invested in Europe for the poor people in Europe and for everything we need to get on with in Europe, you know. So this girl, she has nothing to do in an establishment. She cannot represent European people. Anglo-Saxon people, they need to be represented by Anglo-Saxon and not a woman who's earned her life by having sex in sitcoms before, you know. She cannot even represent what's a good woman today, because by watching her series, you'll just have to watch her sex scene. Now you need to teach your children, in the UK, in France, anywhere in Europe, that a woman can earn money without using sex. We are not prostitutes. Okay, we don't have to look at Meghan Markle having sex on series, and we certainly don't have to have this woman in an establishment in Europe anywhere. She's not a suitable representation of a woman for our European young ladies growing. She looks like a terrible slut in her series anyways, and they're trying to force that onto us. And what's Harry Wells doing? He's forcing mixed racing onto us, and he's forcing this way of life, this easy sex life, party life onto us. Now, I have nothing against a good party, you know, nothing against having a nice boyfriend and everything. I'm all good with that, but I have respect for myself and for women in Europe and in the world in general, and I don't believe she's a very good thing happening to us at the moment. And obviously because of the recent event, she's giving the Queen a lot of trouble with her fucking wedding, which will be the worst wedding in the history of the UK and Europe ever. She's been a PR nightmare. She wants to invite those people at her wedding. She's going to create geopolitical trouble between America and the UK. She's inviting the old president when, you know, that, I mean, it's not even my business, but I don't want problem in Europe with America because of a slutty woman who earned all her life money by having sex with people to find her job and then having sex in on TV. It's just not, you know, that's just not us. And Harry Wells is forcing this onto us, knowing that he's doing it. He's destroying us, he's destroying our identity. We've done nothing to him, but apparently he doesn't like us very much. I don't know what we've done to him, but so he couldn't find a decent woman to marry him. That's his problem, but it's not us to pay for the issue. Now, if we have in France thousands of jungles and millions of African people and Arabic people, maybe they should invade the green of Le Touquet Golf and Deauville, you know, polo ground. Maybe if the elite have them on their grounds, maybe they're going to understand how bad the situation is, you know. So maybe they should do that, but I don't want my country to change in culture